Morning, y'all. Bearded Piper Wade here, coming to you from rainy North Raleigh. I'm doing a VR for Paladin Piper, who just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is incredible. A little surprising he didn't hit it sooner, but his channel has been just consistently growing. He puts out great videos, does some great editing on some of them. I mean, just fantastic series. So if you haven't subbed him, but go ahead and do that, because you're going to learn quite a bit about tobaccos and all kinds of fun stuff. He just puts out some great content. He asked us to do a VR for a GAW he's doing, and he wants us to know, or he wants us to talk about legacy. You know, what do we hope our legacy is going to be when we leave, or something to that effect. Real quick housekeeping. As you can see, it's raining and I'm in a work truck, so I am not smoking right now. But what I was going to smoke is this little Spitfire. I think it's called a Spitfire by Lorenzo. It's a little pear wood pipe, cheap. It came with what did it come with? One of my when I ordered my pipe bag a little while ago, it was a pipe that came with it, and I said, sure, it's a pipe I can use while I'm working, or something like that. I can just knock it around and not worry too much about it. But and then in it, I was gonna smoke Cornell and Deal's Bayou Morning. I've got that set up and it smells wonderfully. I just opened the bag for the first time, and of course that's when the heavens started dumping on me. When I was at the office, they weren't. They were barely spitting, really. So, but anyway, I was watching a lot of videos yesterday about legacy and what different people hope their legacy is when they leave. And to be honest with you, I'm a not so bright 26-year-old kid. I haven't really thought about my legacy all that much. I think of, oh well, that's something, when I'm a grandpa, that's when I might start thinking about it. But that got me to thinking, what is my legacy? Do I have a legacy? Like, what does that mean? And ironically enough, while I'm watching these videos, I get on Facebook, and sure enough, it was the 1-year anniversary yesterday of us laying my grandpa to rest. They buried him a year ago yesterday, and I started thinking about it, and I said, I don't know much about my legacy, but I know a little bit about his. He was this man who, above all, loved God. He loved his family. He was compassionate. He was generous. He was funny. He was sharp. And those characteristics are part of his legacy. He instilled them in his kids, and then his kids instilled them in us. And then, me being a dad now, I'm hoping to instill those characteristics in my son, Kenneth Eugene, who was partially named after him. And I start thinking about that, and now when I look at my son, I think, man, I would love for that to be my grandpa's legacy. I want to pass these characteristics, these things that he stood for, and that he truly believed in. That's what his legacy was, and I want that to continue to flow through our family. We've got a picture frame in Gene's room of two people. One was my grandpa, Ira Eugene King, and the second one was of his grandpa, my father-in-law, Kenneth Eugene Holderbach. And it's a wonderful picture frame, because it's like a book. It opens up and you see one of each of them, and my mom wrote in there Great Grandpa King and Grandpa Ken, or Grandpa Holder. I don't remember exactly what she said. But both of those men, Ken is the same way. He has a legacy to pass on through his daughter and through his relationship with me into Gene. We want Gene to grow up loving Christ, loving his family, and being very hardworking. These are some of the characteristics that really defined both of them. Ken was extremely generous. He called his family, almost every family member, almost daily. I can remember after he and I got on real good terms. I mean, we were just buddy like every day after work when we both got off. He'd be calling me or I'd be calling him, and we'd sit there and talk for an hour on our drives home, just checking in, making sure everyone's okay, you know, everything's going smooth. You know, he genuinely cared about his family. And so both of these men have a legacy of character that I really hope to pass on to and instill in Gene, that he ends up loving Christ and being kind and compassionate and generous, and you know, that he's sharp and hardworking. You know, these are some of the things that I would love to see my son take on as part of their legacy. That's really what they ended up leaving behind for us. And you know, obviously, a lot of people talk about gold and, you know, or monetary value. You know, having a huge house to pass on. You know, all that kind of stuff that you can inherit, and that stuff's all fine and dandy. But when I die, it just gets passed on or it gets sold. You know, that's not something that is everlasting. Christ, on the other hand, Christ is everlasting. And so that's the big thing that both of these men passed on to their kids, and that I want to pass on to Gene. And so that's kind of what I think of as legacy. My legacy that I pass along really isn't my own legacy. Obviously, I want to put my own spin on it and say, you know, these are characteristics that, you know, I truly embody and desire to show, even if I don't. I know I'm not perfect by any means, and I hope to have even a tenth of the generosity and compassion that both of those men had, and a love and dedication to Christ and their family. I think if I have even a portion of that, our family's going to be all right. But that's kind of the way I look at it. My legacy really isn't my own at this point. My legacy that I have is just another family member's legacy that's been passed on to me, and I truly believe that and embody, or try to embody, what they believed. And so that's kind of what I think of when I think of legacy. Like I said, I'm 26. I'm pretty young to be thinking about my legacy, and I really haven't made a mark on the world, and I don't plan on making any huge marks, just little ones here and there. And you know, when people ask, I say, well, yeah, my grandpa taught me this, and my father-in-law showed me this, and that's what I want to pass along, those characteristics. So Paladin, that's my legacy. My legacy is someone else's legacy. And so that's what I thought of when I thought of your question. So hopefully this works for you. Congrats, buddy, on the 1,000 subscribers. That's exciting news. No surprise that your channel's grown that big, and it'll continue to grow. For the rest of y'all, fill your bowls with something like, sorry, it's early. Fill the bowls with something you like, and then have a great day.